Hello there, everyone watching. On GamePoints a few weeks back, we were discussing the very sensitive topic of this Warner Brothers Shadow of War DLC that was designed to be a charity event for someone who died. Proceeds of each sale of the DLC would be going to his family, or at least that's what we originally thought. But as people started reading to the fine print turns out there were some discrepancies into exactly what was being offered and what wasn't being offered. For example, while the DLC itself cost $4.99, with $3.50 of each sale going to the family, it wasn't across all 50 states. Certain states, specifically Alabama, Hawaii, Illinois, Massachusetts, Mississippi, and South Carolina, were excluded from that. Additionally, there was a tweet that fired off saying, hey, if you buy this anywhere outside of the United States, so for example in Europe, the family also wouldn't be getting the proceeds of the DLC. Essentially, it made it sound like the entire DLC, unless sold in those 44 US states, was just going to get pocketed entirely by Warner Brothers. And given Warner Brothers' past dealings and the fact that they just tend to not be a great company overall, this seemed entirely plausible and rightfully set off a firestorm of controversy about what is and isn't DLC, where microtransactions should be drawn. Just a whole shitstorm of problems. Today, as of September 26 at 12:50 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, there is this forum post put up dealing with the Fortog Orc-Slayer DLC. We're going to go over it as follows. The Fortog Orc-Slayer DLC was created by the team at Monolith Productions to help immortalize Michael Forgy, a dear friend and colleague, and to raise funds to help support his widow and children. Specifically, we decided to sell the DLC worldwide and donate all profits from the DLC to the family. Although we decided to donate all profits to the family, we only plan to actively promote this donation in the United States, excluding certain states based on their charitable promotion laws. We hope this approach would raise as much money as possible for Forgy family in compliance with the law. Our decision not to promote the donation outside the United States, even though we intended to donate the money, caused many questions where funds from other territories were going. Answering that direct question itself could have triggered compliance obligations or put us in violation of cause marketing laws in some of the 241 territories in which the content was available. Alright, they're explaining why they couldn't even say, hey, we're selling this on here, because it might have put them in a situation where they had to follow through on some laws or something. I'm not a lawyer, so I can't say for certain. I get it, and at least they're explaining their silence on it. I don't necessarily buy into it. At the very least, it seems unplanned and rushed, but hey, at least it's an explanation as for the silence. Additionally, a factually incorrect tweet from our team exacerbated the confusion by stating that our international funds would not be going to the family. For absolute clarity, our intention was always to give all profits from the DLC worldwide to the Forgy family. I don't know why you didn't say that at the gate. It could be because of the previous paragraph where you said, hey, it might trigger some weird compliance laws. Okay, I get it. The tweet still went out. Someone needs to be held accountable for that. That is grossly negligent on whoever's running your social media. I understand mistakes happen, but the fact that this wasn't clarified almost immediately is a major, major problem. Additionally, it still doesn't go over the fact that you're only giving $3.50 of $4.99 per purchase. So $1.50 is going to you guys. Yes, you can probably say that's justifying the cost of creating the DLC. But guys, this is charity. If you're not willing to give the whole shebang to charity, don't do the charity. It just looks bad regardless of how you try to break it down. Going on. We now recognize that tying our donation to sales of DLC was not the best way to achieve our goal of offering financial support to the family and creating a lasting memorial to Michael Forgy. We sincerely apologize to the fans and to the Forgy family for the confusion we caused. I'd be very interested to see or to know at least what the family's response to all this was. I don't want to pester them. I'm not going to go find them to ask them questions. I don't want anyone watching this doing the same either. It's just one of those random questions I have, you know. It's like I'm curious, but not that curious. To ensure the two aims are still met and to provide transparency to the community, Warner Brothers Interactive will instead make a donation directly to the Forgy family.
The DLC will be withdrawn from sale and will be a free download for the owners of Middle-earth: Shadow of War. Anyone who has purchased the DLC will receive a full refund. If there is interest in donating directly to the family, please visit their UCaring site at address down below. This is what you guys should have done to begin with. This is what we said to do on the site. We even directed, if I recall, to that exact same UCaring site down there. And I'm finally glad that you guys are waking up to the fact that this was just a bad PR move all across the board. You can't sell charity DLC. You can't tie charity, which is something that's inherently good and kind and has a favorable viewpoint, to DLC, which has such a negative outlook to so many people that you couldn't have possibly thought this was a good idea. Additionally, when you say, hey, we weren't going to promote it internationally and we didn't want to possibly set off compliance issues, okay, cool. But you guys are Warner Brothers. You have this massive legal team that could have gone through all of this. I'm chalking this up to maybe the fact that, hey, this might have been spur of the moment and you didn't really have anything to fall back on afterwards. But it just seems half-assed. It seems slipshod in how you guys handled this. And I'm glad to see that you guys are making things right, albeit, this came out on the 4th, it's the 26th of 3-4 weeks later. Corporations move slow. Okay, cool, fine. It's a problem that shouldn't have happened to begin with. All of that said, thank you, Warner Brothers, for finally doing the right thing on this one. This is what should have been out the get-go. Perhaps like a blank, if you wanted it to even tie it to sales, you could have said, hey, for every 1 million copies sold, we're going to donate $50,000 to the family or something like that. Or the DLC for every X percentage. Other ways, rather than saying we're only in that way, that's like whole amounts. People know exactly what they're donating. And these are just spitballing. Honestly, you probably just should have probably should have just done what you're doing right now. Here's a flat donation to the family and DLC given away for free to put the Michael Forgey's character in there. Cool. I'm glad you guys handled this. I'm glad that it's hopefully seeming to be resolved. Transparency is fucking key. I hope you guys realize that. I want all publishers and developers to realize that. In the world of everyone is constantly connected to everything, you can't hold information like that back. If a mistake happens, you have to correct it right then and there. You can't wait 3 weeks. Because how much negative press did this cost you? How much bullshit did the family have to go to deal with this? All of this could have been handled if out the gate you were just like, this is everything there is with the DLC. Here is all of this behind the closed doors stuff